Power Project crew, what's going down? Real quick, we're going to take a break and a slight intermission from the episodes that we recorded down in Columbus, Ohio at the Arnold Classic to bring you a very important episode with Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. Initially, I wanted this podcast to be kind of like an outlet or a break away from all the negativity and all the the bad news that's going on in the media right now with the coronavirus. But at this point, it's become unavoidable. And instead of us trying to, do our best to explain what we know, what very little we know about the virus, we decided it was so much more important to bring on an expert that is currently dealing with the coronavirus. Dr. Gabrielle Lyon has a practice in which she actually is currently treating and seeing patients that have contracted the coronavirus. Now, she starts off right off the bat by saying she's not a primary care doctor, but even with that, she is still seeing patients and treating them. And in this episode, she actually gives us some things that we can use to help fight against it. However, unfortunately, there's still no cure for it. But like I said, she's the expert and she actually knows quite a bit about it. So we just felt it was important to get this episode out in front of all the other episodes that we have kind of in the pipeline. And, hopefully this brings value. Hopefully it brings some comfort if you're kind of worried about the virus. Hopefully it gives you some information that you haven't heard from anyone else. I will get out of your guys' way just real quick. I just got back from Costco, and they're actually completely out of ground beef in my area, which was kind of weird. Not weird, but it was just like really eye-opening. And then speaking with Gabrielle Lyon, I'm just like, dude, okay, we got to get serious about this quarantine stuff. So one thing that I'm going to do, of course, is order my ground beef straight from Piedmontese. If you guys don't want to go outside, you don't want to go in big, populated areas, just have the meat delivered straight to you. Head over to Piedmontese.com. That's Piedmontese.com. At checkout, enter promo code PowerProject for 25% off your order. And if your order is $99 or more, you get free 2-day shipping. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Hope you guys find some value in it. If you do, please find Dr. Gabrielle Lyon's social media links down in the YouTube description or in the iTunes show notes and tell her thank you. This whole time she had her baby in her arms. It was so cute. But, again, that's something only a mom can actually pull off. If a dude tried to do it, we would have been stumbling all over our words the entire time. Anyways, I'm gonna shut up. I hope you guys enjoy the show.
Don't want what if I'm one of those carriers?
I know.
You don't know. So
yeah, I was even thinking last night with my parents. I was like, oh, maybe we should all just spend time together. And I was like, oh, maybe we shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
They're not super healthy, so
yeah.
Maybe that wouldn't be a good idea.
I didn't see. Stephanie was telling me about Mel Robbins maybe was saying to start set up Zoom meetings and stuff with family, just to hang out that way, so that way you don't feel so isolated. But yeah, I thought that was interesting, and you're right. Yeah, I would like to go see my parents, but they kind of, they're both up there in age too, and my dad's got some heart issues in the past, and how terrible would that be, right?
Yeah. Let's face it, they're annoying too, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, God. Hey, but people really do gotta because I still see posts from people saying, oh, it's not, it's the flu's worse, or all these other things are so much worse than this. And there's a lot of people still that were going out to clubs and stuff. And if you have older people in your life,
yeah, you got to be really cautious.
This is not the time to really fuck around, because you'll be okay. I'll probably be okay, but 65-year-old mom might not. The
thing that I keep seeing, it's obesity or diabetes kills more people per year than X, Y, and Z flu, blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, that's true. But if this person sneezes on me, I don't become obese in a week or two or whatever it takes. That's not how that really works.
Wait, by the way,
hi,
sneezing isn't too bad. I think it's
coughing, whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Just good to know, because I was sneezing the other day. I was like,
trying to block it.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys see the interview with Steph Curry where he was like. He held it and he just kept talking.
Yeah, that's the worst when it happens. You're like trying to like block it, but it usually comes back anyway, no matter what you do.
It comes back.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows what to do with this virus. You know, I think you hear some crazy stats. You know, you hear like that. You know, and just like I don't know what to believe, but just a stat I heard like over 70% of the population are going to end up with it at one point or another. And that sounds crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like that sounds insane. I mean, especially with how scared everybody is of it and stuff. And you know, I think rightfully so. Like, why not be cautious? Why not be extra cautious? As long as you're not harming anybody else. Like if you're gonna freak out so much that you try to punch me for food, you know, like then it's getting to be a little bit crazy, you know. But other than that, I think you know, if you want to lock yourself in your house and you want to take extra precaution, I think that's actually probably, you know, somebody needs to be nervous about it. You know, someone needs to be worried about it. And I think that, you know, each person's just going to react to it so much differently than the next. You know, I'm personally, I don't have a care in the world towards it. Like, but that's just me. I don't care that much about stuff in general. So, but at the same time, I've already walked myself through the worst case scenario, which is like me carrying it and me killing people. But I've already thought about it. Doesn't make it any better. But I thought about like, hey, okay, I'm still going to work. I'm still training in the gym. That's cool, but it's also very irresponsible of me to get around older people. And like, I probably, as much as I want to hang out with my mom and dad, I probably shouldn't hang out with them. I was just encouraging my dad earlier today to shut down his tax practice. You know, hopefully he can do them all via the phone or Skype or something, you know? And so, you know, I've kind of played it out. I kind of thought about it a bunch, and I'm also thinking about the future. You know, they shut school down, and I'm like, well, you know, school, it's not coming back. You know, I think that's what America needs to know. School's not coming back this year. It's done. Like, in my opinion, there's no possible way, and there's no possible scenario where I would send my children back to school.
Yeah.
I'm not really that concerned for them. I'm more concerned for them being carriers and for them to, you know, hurt someone who's older. So I think school's done for the year. I don't have no idea what they're going to do about it. But, you know, we pay a lot of money for taxes. So you figure somebody somewhere along the lines would have been like, hey, you know, just in case something happens, just in case there's, you know, power outages or there's hurricanes or there's something crazy happens, we should have some stuff set up to where kids can still get an education via the internet or something like that. But it doesn't appear that anyone has any solutions like that, at least at the moment, in terms of my kids' schooling, but maybe they have it worked out other places.
Well, I mean, all last year, Jasmine did homeschooling. And I mean, a lot of it she was doing on her own without any guidance or any kind of, like, we didn't have to monitor much. And in my opinion, I think she was doing, well, grades wise, she was doing better through homeschool than she is now. And well, actually, I think she's about even now. But I don't know, man. I think she was doing way better at home anyways. But
why do you think that is?
Part of me, I think it's because when she's at home, one, she's focused on just that. She's not getting distracted by anybody, but also she's not looking over seeing like, oh, so-and-so got an A+ and I got a C+, and then getting depressed about it. And then, you know, getting a worse grade the next go around. But the reason why I was mentioning that is because I think homeschool is probably going to be the best answer. Like after this, like I again, I don't know what's involved in getting teachers to do virtual classrooms, but we definitely all have the technology to do it. So why not just, I mean, the money that people or that schools and stuff will save by not needing to, you know, house so many damn kids. Like, I think in the long run, it'll just end up being better.
Yeah. I've been hearing a lot that like we literally just have not been prepared for something like this. Like, I mean, you think about like the amount of testing kits that like we have right now, not much at all. Apparently also I heard on the Joe Rogan podcast with that one guy, and he was saying for years, they were like, we should figure out, cause I think like the SARS and another one that was like like a disease
swine
like
flu and stuff like that. Yeah,
like they were diseases kind of like this, and he was like, we should figure out some vaccines for stuff like this and figure out a way to do that, but no one was really moving on it. And this is fucking wild.
Yeah. Why is everybody taking all the toilet paper? I'm not sure. Is it just because they're afraid that it's going to run out, or is there something else?
Before we continue,
I'm very confused about the toilet paper.
Don't you wish you were kind of one of those people at this point, though? Like, if all the toilet paper is gone. Don't you wish? Because my mom was one of those people. Nice. And I was like, hey, thanks for going to Costco. I'll take one of those.
Yeah, definitely. When I started seeing that, I think it was when we were in Ohio still.
Yeah.
And Stephanie was like, should I go get? I'm like, you know what? I'm not around. I don't know what it looks like. Just order a bunch online. And about half of the toilet paper we had ordered ended up being delivered because it was out of stock. But yeah, I was just like, just walmart.com and have everything shipped to the house, because I don't know what it looks like back home, so just do it that way. But yeah, it will be funny when like the vaccine for the coronavirus is like you just have to eat a roll of toilet paper, and they're gonna be like, I told you. It's just like, okay, calm down.
Become an entrepreneur and start hustling that shit. 25 a roll.
I think speaking of being like an entrepreneur, I think this is supposed to be exercises that entrepreneurs are supposed to practice anyway. What happens when your business is no longer able to thrive because you're no longer in the same environment? How like bomb proof is your business? And you think about, I think about some of my friends that have businesses, and some of my friends are like personal trainers and stuff. And I'm like, man, they're really good at what they do, but like, it just sucks. They're not going to be able, or massage therapy or chiropractic. Some of these people that are like very hands-on, they don't really have a choice on how they make their money. And that is brutal. And so I think that this virus is going to kill people in more ways than one. And I think it's going to hit people in their bank account probably the hardest. And that to me is very scary. Not that I'm scared that I won't have money, but I'm scared for, like, I have a lot of friends that own businesses, and I have a lot of friends that they work very hard. They put a lot of time and effort into their trade, and it's just super sad. And local businesses and stuff, I mean, they're not going to be able to make it. If you have a store and it's shut down for 2 months and you're in like New York City or something, how the hell can you get that? You just can't get that back, So that's what I think the fallout from this will be, is that, 2021, 2022, 2023 is all going to be all jacked up because of everything that's happening right now, because people are spending a lot of money because they're scared, but they're also those same people aren't having the same ability to work. So something's got to give somewhere, unfortunately. And I think that obviously losing people is the worst thing, but the economic fallout from this, I think, will be huge.
We were just actually talking to Chris, and he was mentioning over in Italy, Italy.
Griffin always has the scoop, man.
He has the scoop. Yeah. He was saying that renters aren't really allowed to charge the individuals that live in their properties for the next few months or whatever. And people don't have to pay their mortgages if they're out of work currently for however many months. But that's not going to happen here.
Yeah.
No.
Well, and that kind of seems like very compassionate, but like, then where does that money come from, right? Like, and maybe like the guy that owns the duplex or owns the apartment building, like maybe he kind of doesn't need the money, maybe, but maybe he really does. Like maybe he like, maybe he has been, maybe he's hurting. Sometimes when you think people have money or they have assets, sometimes you think that they're really thriving. But if the government's able to step in, I think that's, the advantage some of the other countries might have. Sometimes the government can step in and help. But like if our government stepped in and helped from a financial perspective, I think they would just be in a greater debt than they already are. So I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just wild. It's wild to see who's impacted the most, You know, will the middle class be hurt the worst? Will the upper class be hurt the worst? Will the people that are less fortunate be impacted the most? Will it unite anybody? Will it help people? You know, I know we can't physically come together, but will it? I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the trainer in Spain, like training people.
On the roof.
He's like out in like a lawn area, and there's all these people exercising, and like how cool was that to see? These people are exercising, no one's touching each other, not near each other, they're not lifting any barbells or anything, but they're all exercising, still having a good time, still having fun. I don't know. Maybe there'll be more people that will be innovative and have fun and cool stuff like that to do. That's still like community, you know.
Yeah,
man, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm still seeing people that are. I mean, I usually get like all my information from Twitter, which is not good, but people still saying that it's like we're blowing it out of proportion, that it's all a hoax, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, at what point?
The conspiracy theorists piss me off.
Like, at what point is it enough?
Here's what I say might be a little overblown, just as far as my knowledge, and I don't know shit, but like as far as my knowledge on what is happening, the actual virus itself doesn't appear to be that dangerous to a large majority of the American public that has decent health. At the moment, it doesn't appear that way. But also, like, what I do wonder, and what I don't have knowledge on, what if you are normally healthy, and what if I just have a regular cold and I get that, you know,
God, yeah.
right? Or let's say a week ago I broke my leg and I'm in the hospital. You know what I mean? Like, then we're losing people that were relatively healthy. They just happen to have a small hiccup in their health because of whatever thing happened. And now they might be compromised as well. So I do think that the only thing, if there is anything that's overblown, it's actually the impact of the actual virus itself. But what I think is undeniable is that it is spreading. You know, it's spreading from one country to the next very rapidly. It's spreading all over the place, and it's something to be super cautious about. And we have a lot of people at the moment that are dying from it right now. So that's not anything to be that's not publicity. That's not the media. That's not social media. There's people that are there's families that are impacted. Something to think about. There's families that are impacted by it right at this moment. They're losing people as we speak, which is disgusting and scary. And like that is, and we don't know how to stop it. If we knew how to stop it, it'd be like, okay, unfortunately we lost a lot of people. But now they have a vaccine and it looks like we're on the comeback. Mm-hmm. The scary part is we don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it could potentially wipe out everybody. We don't have any idea at the moment. I don't think. I mean, what if another thing came along while this was happening? Like, is that possible? We had swine flu a few years ago, or not a few years ago, probably like 10, 12 years ago, 15 years ago.
H1N1 or whatever.
Yeah, H1N1. Like, what if something like that came about now, which that was also considered not to be that huge of a threat, but that killed some people as well. Mm-hmm. What if the two things combined, or what if something else? I don't know. Like, just even think about, like, what if we were at war? Like, what a weird time to be at war, but like, what a great time for someone to take advantage of somebody else. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of fucking crazy possibilities.
Yeah, and if something else does come along, it as is right now, again, I'm not in hospital, so I have no idea, but it appears that they're like running out of space. They're running out of supplies.
Yeah. I have a friend who's a nurse, and she got a memo saying that they're not going to be having face masks or whatever soon or something. Mm-hmm. And no joke, they might have to use trash bags as
ventilator.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do that.
Yeah. So now imagine if another virus comes out and it's like that one is deadly, or is half as bad as this right now, but we don't have the space, the supplies for everything. There was this company that was making like they have a 3D print company or something like that. They were making supplies on the spot for a hospital that was running out of stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but it's scary.
Let's get Dr. Gabrielle Lyon on the horn here and see if she can help us make some sense of this. because we don't know what we're talking about that much.
Yeah.
Like we only kind of do. But
I told you I get my info from Twitter.
Twitter and Instagram's the best place for info like this, right?
Well, I legit don't know what news outlet to even.
Dude,
I don't have TV like cable.
Bill Burr told me to throw on a sweater. Like, I love that people got mad about that. It's like, man, I know that people are sick. I realize that, but like that shit was funny.
Yeah. So I sent Gabrielle the Zoom link, so you're just waiting for her to join.
The cool thing I'm noticing is that like I've been seeing a lot of Facebook posts of like friends that are like, I'm not smoking anymore, right? And some people really trying to get on top of their health,
breathing issues and respiratory issues, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's the stuff that's happened with the school. I made a post, on my own social media, and I thought, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna really get ripped apart for this one. But like, you guys know I have a certain feeling about school just because I didn't have. I got my own weird opinions about it because I didn't have a great time in school. But, I do hope that some of what's happening leads to like, people kind of thinking of stuff. Oh my God, you got your baby in there.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Look at that little machine.
This is so cute. Say hi. Hi, Uncle Mark.
Hey, what's going on? How are you guys doing today?
Good. I'm on mom duty. So she's wanting to. So this is what we're working with.
Hey, somebody's got to watch that cute little kid. How old's your baby?
7 months.
Are you concerned about your baby's health like during this time, or what are some of your thoughts on it?
So it's interesting. So I know most of you. I'm Gabrielle Lyon. I'm a physician here in New York City, New Jersey area. And I have patients that have corona, and their parents have it. So I have a little bit of a different perspective. And what I can tell you is that there's a couple of issues, really 3 major issues. One is, let's say the majority of us are going to get it, not going to get that sick. And I think that we can all agree that is possibility that may be true. That being said, the patients that are getting it, that are older, and when I say older, 60s, some of these people are not surviving. And I can tell you personally, I have a young lady in my practice who in the span of 2 weeks may be losing both her parents.
Holy shit.
And that is profound and devastating. And I know your question was, am I concerned for my baby? I mean, that's not the target age group, but I have younger patients. I have 2 younger patients. One is in, 2 are in their 20s. They both have it. And they're okay though. So we're not talking about vented. We're not talking about massive respiratory distress. So they have it. But the fact that the care system here, and I can't speak to everywhere else, it is overburdened. And the patients, we can't, I don't work in the ER. I'm not seeing patients in the hospital. I'm a concierge private practice, so I don't do primary care. But those patients in the hospital that are being confirmed positive and then sent home, then going into respiratory distress, needing to call an ambulance and have to go back to the hospital, there's no beds. And I'm not being an alarmist, right? So this is, the majority of us is not going to be affected. But, at one hand, it's compelling and it's awful that, if this were to affect our parents, we'd be devastated.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's devastating. And I was speaking to my lawyer this morning, and she's like, well, it's the older patients that it's affecting. And while that's true, then we have this kind of economic collapse. And the woman at the gym she's a single mom who this is how she makes her money, and they just close the doors. We're in full lockdown here. So I'm in Jersey City and everything is closed. So it's mandated that everything is closed. You can only pick up and not dining cares, all medical offices, everything is closed. You know, and I just wonder what is the right thing to do? So what are the economic implications that this is going to have for the single mom who is, you know, works at the gym and now has no income? So I don't know what the answer is.
What with your husband's job, has things changed with what he's doing?
So my husband he's a Navy SEAL. So he's been a Navy SEAL for 10 years, and he just transitioned out of the teams, and he's in medical school. Total underachiever, right?
He's trying to be like you.
Yeah. So they have shut down everything. So everything is remote, all medical school. I mean, they're really taking significant precautions, because we've all heard this concept of wanting to flatten the curve. And that's really just to try to get ahead of the illness. So let's say someone gets sick and their life could be saved, but because we have no more beds and because we don't have the supplies and the healthcare workers, they don't have a chance. And I think that's, you know, they're just really trying to contain it. And I don't know the answer. I can only tell you what I'm experiencing firsthand.
Do you know anything about medications or supplementation or anything anyone can do to help?
Yes. So first of all, I want to be really clear. I am not a virologist. I'm not an infectious disease physician. So I will just tell you what I'm reading in the literature and whether that's helpful or not. I mean, there are certainly people that this is their area of specialty. And I just want to say that off the bat, because I think it's really important to be very honorable in what your profession is and really the information that you're distilling out. So I am telling you, in my practice, there's been some randomized controlled trials for chloroquine, and that's an anti-malarial that shows hope. And I know that that's what they're utilizing here in the hospitals in part. And so some of my patients, I've given them chloroquine. There is, there's a couple, there's some recommendation of Tamiflu and then chloroquine. I think that this is all still so early, despite some of the literature. And then interestingly, while I don't think there's any way to, quote, prevent it or cure it at this time, I think there's some data coming out about vitamin C, vitamin D. And again, I can't speak to the efficacy of that, but I think it behooves people to do the best that they can to take care of their immunity. And it certainly is a low cost of entry and can be very valuable.
Will it prevent you from going to the gym?
Everything's closed.
Oh, yeah. So there you go.
Since you obviously...
Everything is closed.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what is the right thing to do? So perhaps if everybody had hunkered down, or if individuals had stayed in, and if the elderly or at-risk patients really taken that advice seriously, then maybe we wouldn't be in this position. I don't know that answer.
I know you probably talked to a lot of other docs about this, and you definitely have a broader idea of how, no one knows how things are going to end up, but you have a broader idea of where things are heading. You see certain places are closed for the next 2 or 3 weeks, right? But how do you think things are going to continue on? Because it doesn't seem like, these 2 weeks might help people flatten the curve a little bit, that term that we've been talking about, but it doesn't necessarily seem like things...
It's a kind of a bad connection. I'm only hearing...
Oh, whoops.
Oh, let's pause for a little bit, I guess.
You guys, but dudes can't do that. Nsima, if you were trying to do that, even though the baby doesn't weigh anything, your biceps would be so cramped. She hasn't even had to change. She hasn't and the kid's not
I would
swimming.
have to switch the kid from hand to hand.
And the kid would be so uncomfortable being held by you because your body's like a rock.
Yeah.
And so the kid would want to squirm around. Your bicep would be cramping. And
well, I mean, I got some pecs, so the kid could grab that, right?
That's a B/C.
Yeah.
You think you're more of a C?
I think I'm more of a C than a B.
Probably sitting down, it might be more of a C.
Yeah. Yeah, little slouch here and there, but yeah.
One of the guys here like had to like, I don't know, he had some job where he had to like measure people for that or something. I don't know. He was telling me
like a tailor.
And, I don't know. I don't know what he was doing, but he told me he was like, he told me what he was. He was like, I'm a like 46B or something like that or something because he had like a pretty big back.
Mm-hmm.
I forget which. I'll try to
so
remember.
Odd.
Who it was. I know, it's so strange.
I think I'd probably like 46B. Did he have a bigger back than me?
No.
Okay, so I'm definitely like a 50 something C.
No one's got a bigger back than you, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Who do you think was in here, Mr. Olympia?
Oh man,
that's man. They're on full lockdown over there.
Yeah, no. A bunch of my clients have been texting me today because like I messaged them
How
earlier
many
last
movies
week.
have done that? Like where Manhattan is fucking shut down, right?
Mm-hmm.
There
here we
she
go.
is. Hey, super mom, feeding your baby and doing an interview at the same time.
Yeah, you can hear us, right?
Yeah, so the connection was really poor.
Yeah.
So sorry about that.
Yeah, so the main
But
thing.
at least I didn't make you change your diaper.
Yeah. So what I was wondering was like, you probably have a better idea of what's going to be happening in a few weeks. No one really knows, but what can you let us know of how you see things progressing? Because we see people going to the store and buying out a bunch of food, and like initially we were thinking that was a bad idea, but like in a few weeks, they might be the ones who are laughing with all their food and their.
I it's interesting. It's interesting. So I think widespread panic is not the right. I mean, in the history of ever, has that ever made anything better?
Nope.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's like the idea of trying to say to someone to calm down when they're having a meltdown, like that does not work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you stubbed your toe and you just feel like you broke it and someone is saying, oh my God, are you okay? So I think that you're absolutely right. Nobody knows. The concept that we would be running out of food and water, I am not exactly sure where that's coming from. I think that's people are reacting a bit irrationally in that way.
Mm-hmm.
What I hope doesn't happen, but that I think there is a possibility, and I can only speak from my experience, is that people are testing positive, going into the emergency room, they're testing there, not feeling well, and then being sent home. And the issue is they're being sent home and they have no capacity to care for themselves. So then they're going home, and then they're going into respiratory distress. And then they're needing to get back to the hospital and to be intubated or vented. This is the problem. And I'm really curious to know your guys' perspective. Does that mean that we shut down everything economically? And that's the right answer either. I don't know. People have to be able to work and feed their families.
Yeah, my perspective is probably a little selfish. Like, I still want to be able to do what I want to do, but then I think, well, how dumb is that? If it compromises someone else, that's my main concern is not so much if something happens to me, but like, I don't want anything to happen to anybody close to me. How important do you think it is for people that are maybe listening to this podcast when they're done to maybe have a conversation with their parents or grandparents and say, hey, look, like, you really need to like not go anywhere. Like grandma, grandpa, like you need to sit down and just shut up and not move anywhere. Don't go anywhere, please.
That's probably the most valuable piece of advice. Because when these people are getting it, the survivability is much lower. And I'm seeing it. It's devastating. I can't say too much about it, but I have one parent, one of my patients' parent is vented and the other one's back, in isolation.
How about
it's not a good situation. That's not common, and that's not average.
How about individuals that are like older that they live healthy lifestyles per se, right? Obviously it's not as bad for them, but because they're older and because obviously, their immune system's a little bit worse, are they just as at risk?
Yes. I would say better safe than sorry completely. My dad, Ecuador, and they closed the borders, and he was supposed to come here and take care of the baby. Zero chances. The risk, when you do a risk stratification or an evaluation of any risk of anything that we do, the short-term sacrifice for the long-term protection of our older individuals is really what I think is so profound and important. It just made me sick seeing these people out partying at, St. Patty's. It's so socially irresponsible. And granted, I guess when you're 20, you do that and act like an idiot, but it's so far beyond the scope of what is appropriate. If you're out doing something, don't be posting about it, posting out how you're hanging out with big groups. It's not the right thing because it sends about the wrong message. It sends a message of irresponsibility. And that's, I think as a country, there's a couple things. We have to come together and try to fix the propaganda issues, right? We have to be able to find trusted information, which arguably, I don't even know where you find that anymore. So that's an issue. And then the other issue is, how can we kind of come together as a society? We are America. Americans are incredible, And my husband would agree. I mean, he fought for the protection and the freedom of every one of these people. So I think we're the greatest country that exists. And how can we come together as a country to support each other? And maybe part of that is social distancing and probably financial support for the people who are not able to work now. So it's really this multifactorial issue. It's not solely a healthcare issue at the moment. And that is what I think is so challenging.
Do you have people that are coming to you now about the situation? Because like most of what I've seen from you is that you're a doctor and you have this great understanding of how you can help people solve problems and things like that they have in their lives. But what I see you do a better job of than anything is just like you help people feel better. So are people coming to you and are they like, hey, look, this is the last thing I needed dumped on my plate. Like, how do I deal with this from a mental standpoint? Like, are people like stressed the hell out over this stuff?
Yeah, totally. But they are, and it's what we do in moments of stress that really determine our character as human beings. And whether you don't have that resiliency muscle, now is the opportunity to build it. 100%. So, so yes, they are
right
coming to talk to me about these things. And it's really about building that this is an opportunity for everybody to take a step back and to reevaluate and how they're going to utilize their time, because there is going to come a moment where this passes. So it's going to pass. And the question is going to be, how did you utilize your time and your mental energy within that space? And did you behave in ways that you can be proud of?
Yeah. I don't want to take up any more of your time for today. I'll let you get back to your baby, and we'll get you on the podcast again soon enough. But thank you so much for taking the time to come on and being a super mom. You're like feeding the baby and doing the interview all at the same time. That's amazing.
It's fine. Those guys are, anything I can do to help, and however I can help support your community and just be a voice of reason. Count me in.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow, that is an adorable baby.
It really is. It's a beautiful kid.
I took a picture of her while she was talking because she's like feeding the baby at the same time. I thought that was legit.
No, but it's super important because I know a lot of people that like were going out on St. Patrick's Day. And when I saw that, it kind of really annoyed me because, again, like we were talking about earlier, there are still people who are like, this is all a hoax. It's not that big of a deal. It only kills old people. That statement that it only kills old people is one of the weirdest things to say without any type of empathy. Right?
I know. And I hear people mentioning that a lot. Like, it only impacts old people, or it's only hurting old. And it's like, well, first of all, a lot of the people that they're considering to be old still have a lot of life left. I mean, if you're 60, you might live another 40 years. I mean, that's a long time. Like, you're not even 40 years old yet. You guys aren't even 40 years old yet. Imagine having another 40 years. Like, you haven't even made it that far just yet. But like some of these people that are in their 60s to get sick, 65, even 70. I think the main thing with all this is like, with obesity or poor decisions that you might make on a day-to-day, you have kind of somewhere along the lines accepted the responsibility of the alcohol that I drink every weekend, the cigarettes that I smoke here and there. A lot of these choices, they're not great. And I think they're knocking years off my life. I don't really know what to do about it. I'm addicted to these foods, but I have kind of put my hand up and I've said to myself, you know what? Whatever comes along with all that, I'm accepting of it because I'm not sure how to get myself out of this jam. In this case, like no one's accepting of this. No one is agreeing to any of these conditions. Like no one wants this fucking virus. No one wants this to happen to them, and no one's deserving of it for sure. Like no one deserves to have this thing happening to them, and you just end up with it. You end up with something that you just had absolutely no control over. And someone might think, oh well, if your immunity was boosted, you know, if you went to Jamba Juice and got the immunity boost shake, you'd be good to go. And kind of even on that note, so there's a lot of stuff in fitness that you see people are like posting, you know, don't be promoting exercise is going to help fight it. And some people are saying, don't promote that any sort of diet is going to fight it. You know, I
saw some of that.
And a lot of people are going back and forth on all this. I'll just say this, like, I love fitness and I always will. I always have. I'll always say strength is never a weakness. Like I'll always live by that. I'm going to ride this shit out as long as I can. I think that the stronger that you are and the better shape that you're in, I think it can be helpful.
Absolutely.
I think now would be a great time to take a look at your diet and try to eat a little bit. Like use it as an excuse. Like, hey man, remember they had the coronavirus 2 years ago? That's when I started losing weight. Like I lost 100 pounds from it. Use it as an excuse, you know, use it as a survival technique. And no one has any information. That's what I keep seeing posted. There's zero evidence that any diet will help you. Well, there's zero evidence that any diet is going to hurt you in this case as well. And I would just say that nutrition and your overall health, it always matters. It always helps.
Everyone always cares about the semantics of these things, exactly what's being said. When people say, oh, there's zero evidence that any diet's going to help you. If you're overweight and you hop on a diet and lose weight, how has that not helped you? No matter what diet it was, losing weight and not being unhealthy at this time, that's going to give you a better chance of being able to survive this. You know, like Paul Saladino posted something about this and then somebody got really mad at him and grilled him. And it's like, you're taking what he said out of the direct context that he was saying it in. He wasn't saying the carnivore diet's going to heal the coronavirus. No, he's saying, try and do this so you can lose some weight, so you be healthier and have a better immune system and you won't be as immunocompromised for this disease. Is that bad to share?
Right.
Stop fucking tripping over it.
Right.
I'm not you know who you are. Stop fucking tripping over it. I love the guy too, but goddamn, bro.
He's been lighting everybody on fire.
Well, fuck, man.
Well, and Paul is like, you can't find someone more kind than that guy. You know what I mean? He's a very kind-hearted person. He's not trying. He certainly he's a doctor.
Yeah.
He's not trying to put out information that's incorrect, that's gonna, you know, compromise his legitimacy at all. Like he was never gonna do that, you know. And he may be super passionate about what he's talking about, but you know, he's also not gonna say, hey man, a hamburger is gonna save you from the
no one's saying that,
from the coronavirus. But what I would say is like in helping so many people myself and not being a physician of any kind, I can say that a lot of people have come to me and are saying, hey man, you know, you helped me get in a routine of exercise and you helped me get on a better diet. And guess what? I'm sleeping a lot better. And it's like, who's going to say that better sleep is going to be negative, you know, to fend off any illness of any kind, you know? And so I understand what people are saying, like, hey, don't misinterpret, don't misrepresent fitness and say that it's the end all be all and it's going to save and help everything. But at the same time, I think it kind of can.
I think about this. All those people that were doing World Carnivore Month a few months ago, and maybe hopped on the carnivore diet by listening to it late last year, right? That lost hundreds of pounds. Right now, they're probably really fucking happy that they did that. And this is not me saying that the carnivore diet helps the coronavirus. Like, you can be on different types of diets and lose a lot of weight and get healthier. But think about that. Those people right now are probably super happy that they hopped on that and it worked for them.
Yeah, they took control of something they can control. And I guess that's our main point. It's like, you can't control the virus, can't control who gets it. You know, we can't really do much about that. But maybe you can slightly control it, because maybe if you're in better condition, and maybe if you're in better shape, and maybe if you are just healthier, maybe you won't ever even contract it, so you won't even pass it on to people that you love and care about. I think most of us are probably in the same boat too. Like I'd rather get it and be really sick, than to have anybody else around me get it. I'd rather take the bullet. Like I'm even like thinking about like, hey, maybe I should just go fucking get it, because you can't get it for like a year, I guess they said, after you've gotten it once already. So, I mean, I don't know what's true, but
yeah, I think they're still unsure about it.
It's interesting because you're like, if I can buy a year, then they probably have a cure for it,
Yeah, man.
Just get it out of my damn system. I had swine flu.
You did?
I did. Yeah.
How was it?
It was horrible. It was horrible. I've never had anything. So your body will only allow you to like do so many things at one time. Like you'll only be so sick, right? But this wasn't the case with swine flu. So I felt insanely nauseous, and I had a headache at the same time. Those two things, it's really rare for both those things to like carry on at the same time. Mm-hmm. So think about a sinus infection and being nauseous. Like that's what I felt. And I did throw up a couple times. And I don't even know if the vomiting was from the actual swine flu or what. But picture having a headache and throwing up.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Like your head already hurts so bad from throwing up like once, and it was just, it was absolutely brutal. I actually went to a contest in, I think it was Ohio. I went to a contest in Ohio, and I was supposed to like handle somebody. And I just told the guy, I was like, I have a fever, and like I can't move, and like every time I move I get the chills.
Oh God.
And I'm like, I can try to help you, but like I think I'm just gonna get everybody else sick. Mm-hmm. He's like, stay the fuck in bed. I was like, all right, man. I was like, I'm here for you. I want, I flew out here with you. I paid the money to come out here with you, and I'm supposed to help you. I'm your coach, but I'm fucking useless. Mm-hmm. I'm completely useless. There's nothing. I can't really do anything.
It's got all that meat, man. That's why it's called the swine flu. Ate those pigs.
I know. But I love bacon, bro. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
It's kind of wild. Well, apparently Idris Elba has it now. But
this is like bat flu almost, huh? Bat or snake flu.
Tom Hanks has it. Mm-hmm. And he's on an island. And his wife's name is Rita. Guess what his wife's last name is?
Swine flu.
Wilson.
Wilson. No.
Rita Wilson is his wife. He set all this shit up.
Damn.
He knew when he made Castaway that this was going to happen.
First Jenny got AIDS, and now he's got...
Wait, what?
Sorry, there's an old movie called
Philadelphia?
Forrest Gump.
Oh, yeah. I remember. Okay, yeah.
It was maybe before your time.
I saw Forrest Gump. Like twice.
Jenny. She got sick.
I love you, Jenny.
That movie is amazing.
It really is. I cried, man.
That movie is really, really freaking good.
Yeah, I've been thinking about like
they don't make them like they used to.
No, but I've been thinking about all the storylines now in movies that are going to be intertwined with coronavirus, like how it's like there's movies about 9/11. Like, have you seen Adam Sandler? I think it's called Rain on Me.
No,
it's such a depressing ass movie, but it's like it follows the story of a man who lost his family that was on a plane, on 9/11. Mm-hmm. But like it shows like his whole like story of like before, after, like it's crazy. So I've been thinking lately, like there's probably going to be some really good books and stories that are going to come out after all this.
A lot of people are referencing Batman because like Bane, like he had like all of Manhattan shut down, right? And then like it's because somebody got like, I guess, bit by a bat or whatever. In this case, somebody ate a bat, I think, or snake.
Andrew made a fire meme from that.
I keep saying I need to stop making all these stupid memes, but I can't help it.
Hey, the best thing right now, everyone's quarantined. You're all at home trying to live it up. Right? The best thing we can do is laugh, just right?
Create some entertainment. I know, but I've seen some funny ones, man. Like it was like, you are what you eat, and the picture of Batman is like some dude in China right now.
Well, that's what's always so good about humor is it can be really inappropriate, right? You could be like,
so bad, dude. Yeah, it was really good. Lot of good memes.
You know it's really good when you're laughing. You're like, I should not be laughing at that. You're like, I shouldn't be laughing at it, but you can't help it.
Oh man.
Have you guys seen McMillions at all?
Never heard. Oh, you told us about it once.
Yeah. It's like a McDonald's thing. But anyway, just what made it pop in my head is, well, maybe I shouldn't say too much about it. You know, I can't say it.
Go ahead.
No, you guys, I don't know. All right, so
we'll watch it anyway.
Okay. Basically, if you don't want to hear this part, then just mute it for a minute. But like in McMillions, what messes everything up is 9/11. So they have this huge case. It's starting to unfold. It's in the newspaper every week, and then wham, 9/11 happens, and that information, like all this, it's based on like, McDonald's had a board game. They had Monopoly, and if you got like Boardwalk and Park Place or something, then you got like this $1 million ticket, and you won $1 million, and it was a huge deal. And every time they ran the promotion, the sales for McDonald's went up by like 70%. Like it was crazy. And so this firm created this game, and McDonald's would ask them like, hey, like what else you got for us? And they're like, well, Monopoly works really good, so let's run it again.
Yeah.
And so they continuously did it. Anyway, somebody was like kind of ripping the whole thing off, and they were taking these game pieces and giving them out to kind of random people, and then they were taking some of them. It's wild. It's completely wild.
Did anyone ever really even win $1 million from that thing?
So I don't even think that show explained that. I don't. I don't remember. I don't remember them saying that in there. I don't know if anyone legitimately won.
Fucked up.
This guy like ran a racket through it the whole entire time. I think.
God.
And it was crazy because they had so much precaution of how over the top protective and how much security they had around it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fucking pieces were in like a briefcase that was locked up that had a special code that only like 2 people knew. And it was just it was crazy. Like they were really diligent with it. But this guy, he was basically like a mafia kind of guy, and he got a hold of it, and he figured out like, how to do it. And then he preyed upon people that he knew would kind of go along with it. Mm-hmm. So he would go to somebody who probably had like, probably behind on car payments and things like that. And he kind of first went to like some friends, but then after that he started to extend it out more. But like he would prey on these people, and then he would see like, oh, this guy's perfect. Like this guy's totally going to, because some people, like if you said, hey man, all you got to do is turn this in and you win $1 million, you would want to know more information, right?
Yep.
You'd be like, what? Like, no, wait, I don't even really know you that well. What are you talking about? Why are you giving me this game piece? But some of the people that he was going to, they were pretty desperate, and they didn't really care that much. They would ask a couple questions, and he would be like, oh, don't worry about it. This is the way it works, and you'll win this money and stuff. And then they would like split the money with him. But anyway, the whole point is like, this was going to be this huge case. It was going to like unfold. And then 9/11 happened, and this story just, no one would even fucking care about it, because 9/11 was this insane American tragedy that everyone was trying to like recover from. So this thing got swept away, and you didn't hear about it until this damn movie came out, which is like 15 or however long ago 9/11 was.
That's crazy.
Damn, I gotta check
19
this out.
years.
Yeah, you guys would like it. It's long. Like it's crazy because in the first episode they hit you with so much. They reveal a lot, and then it's like an 8 or 10 part series. But it's worth it. It's worth it to watch all the way through.
People have time.
If there's any time to watch this, it's now.
The only thing I remember about all of this is my friend had a paper route, and they had the inserts for a lot of the game pieces, and we just took all of them.
Wow.
We got a lot of free food that summer.
Y'all are wild. That's some next level stuff. But hey, it
was a crazy thing.
One thing right now that's going on is a lot of people aren't having gym access.
Yeah.
Like gyms are like Jersey gyms are closed.
People still need to move around, people still need to exercise, right?
Yeah, this is a great time to get in some different types of movement. Like there's a lot of just, even if you don't have any exercise equipment at home, there's a lot of stuff you can do. Those of you who have
outside and walk.
Get outside and walk.
Get some sunlight.
If you have slingshot push-ups or even the hip circles and stuff, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with that stuff. I'm just saying, like, And even like if you have chairs or tables, there's a lot of different movements that you can do at home if you really want to get in a little bit of a pump or workout.
Ron Penna sent me a message today, and he's like, I was thinking about your business, and he's like, I think your business is pretty safe because everyone knows how hard it is to build big, strong triceps at home without a slingshot push-up. And I was like, he gets it. I was like, he totally fucking gets it.
But he is on a H&L though, he's way up here, and everyone else is.
No one else can see it the way he can see it, right?
I'm curious about Ron Penna's take on all of this, actually. But yeah,
he kind of is in agreement with some of it being overhyped in terms of like it impacting everyone and really just being super devastating to everyone as an individual. He doesn't think that the virus itself is that powerful. However, us losing like our parents and grandparents and stuff like that, to me, that's pretty impactful. So if that continues to happen, then I'd have to say even Ron Penna is wrong,
Yeah. Another thing meme or whatever I saw was, it was a tweet, and somebody was like, Corona has a 97% survival rate. You guys are way overhyping it. And then the retweet was like, if I gave you 100 Skittles, but 3 of them were going to kill you, you would take that shit serious. I was like, it's a little flawed, but that makes a lot of sense though. When you put it that way.
That 3% is a very big number.
Oh, dude.
That is a very big number. Like, let's not
any
percent is good enough for me. Like, I'm good.
Well, I think the swine flu, when it first came around in like early 1900s, I think it wiped out like 50 million people. And at that time, it wiped out like 1% of the world's population, which is like, that's fucking crazy. And I think that is the, maybe I'm saying this wrong, but I from what I recall, I think that's the biggest.
The Spanish flu?
Yeah.
It was 1918.
Yeah.
That one was fucked up because the better your immune system was, the higher likelihood that you would die.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because apparently there's like replication of white blood cells and they would fight it off. But like, the younger, that one was one that just like killed healthy young people.
That's wild.
Yeah. So,
man, I don't know what to think of all this. Hopefully some of what we shared today, even though we don't know what the fuck to do, hopefully it's still helpful. As we mentioned, like you want to get outside, like try to get some sunlight, maybe, skipping a lot of these gatherings, not even maybe, would be a great idea. Let's just stop shaking each other's hands, like let's just bow to each other and maybe like elbow or maybe even like just an air bump, always give people a little kind of head nod instead and let people know you appreciate them. But, maybe some of that will help a little bit. And, I don't know what else will help. You heard Gabrielle saying like, doesn't seem like anyone has great solutions at the moment, but just getting enough sleep, getting some vitamin D, hopefully you can get some of that from the sun, washing your hands. And, if you listen to people about how to wash your hands, it's like, there's a technique to it. You got to wash around your fingernails a lot. If you're not washing around your fingernails, and if you have rings and you're not washing around the rings and stuff, then you are kind of wasting your time. So if you're going to take your time to do that, then make sure you do it and just do the best you possibly can with it, I guess.
You'd be surprised at how many, like when you start telling yourself not to touch your face, you start to realize how much you touch your face.
I think they say 10,000 times a day.
10,000 times a day? Holy crap.
Damn.
That's a lot of face touching.
When I heard that, like, oh, you can't touch your face because that's a real easy way to contract it, I'm just like, dude, I'm screwed because I know I touch my face too much.
I've probably touched my face a few times during this podcast. I know it. Look back at the footage. You'll probably see me touch my face 15, 20 times.
What if we could just like, put some like gloves on or something that electrocute us every time we go to touch your face,
Hey, entrepreneur, come out with that right now.
I keep
fuck. Like, man, he's got like,
I'm just going to power through it because I really got to itch.
Like he's cussing a lot today.
Yeah. I just need a cone of shame so that way I can't get to my face.
Dog cones. That's actually a great idea. Yeah. But hey, if you guys are looking for even more Corona information, Peter Attia had some great podcasts on it. Sam Harris had 2 recent podcasts, I think episode 190 and 191, which were really, really informational.
Yeah, he pulled his kids from school before they shut schools down.
He's been taking this super seriously for quite some time before people really started getting the hang of it. So those are some
two really smart dudes too.
Yeah, two really smart dudes. And then there's obviously that Joe Rogan episode with it has like 10 million views on YouTube. You'll see it, but it's a recent one. It's also really, really good. And it's the guy in that episode, he made a book about like about, I guess, just viruses
5,
like
6
this.
years ago.
5, 6 years. Yeah. And it literally predicted everything that's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
Well, it's even scarier than this. I mean, as far as we know, this came from somebody eating something, but somebody can just produce this. You know, somebody can just, like chemical warfare. People can just, you know, people can, like, hopefully that shit never happens. Because when that happens, that's going to be like really dangerous. But like people can just, it's just nuts, man. It's nuts what's out there. You know, the whole population could be, we have like so many movies about this. We have so many books about this. People have been talking about this kind of stuff forever. And luckily for us, we still have Tom Cruise is still around, and we still got Will Smith. I think both those guys should get together and get all of us out of this fucking jam. They've done it successfully so many times before with aliens and viruses and shit like that. Maybe get Matt Damon in there.
They have.
Somebody's got
Matt Damon was Contagion, right? Yeah. That was such a... Yo, guys, go watch Contagion.
Maybe not.
If you want to instill some fear in somebody who's not believing in the virus, have them watch Outbreak.
Is that the one on Netflix that everyone's going on about?
It could be. I don't know. I just know it was like in the top 10 for sure this past weekend.
Man, yeah. That was the one on Netflix. Okay.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it, so I might watch
with
that.
Cuba Gooding Jr. and Morgan Freeman.
Radio.
Yeah, it's a good one, Coach.
That was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
Oh, well, we caught him off guard now. Take us out of here, Andrew.
Oh my gosh. Thank you everybody that's been rating and reviewing the podcast on iTunes. It helps us out a ton. Whoever I read at the end of this, thank you so much. If you guys want to follow me, my Instagram is @IamAndrewZ. Please make sure you're following the podcast at Mark Bell's Power Project on Instagram, at MB Power Project on TikTok and Twitter. We are also on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. What else we got? Thank you, Piedmontese, for sponsoring this episode. All links for everything, for all the social media platforms and everything down below in the YouTube description. Or if you guys are catching this on iTunes, check the show notes for that. Nsima, where you be?
Hey, it's a great time to get meat shipped to your house. Just saying.
Yeah.
At Nsima Inyang on Instagram and YouTube, at Nsima Inyang on TikTok and Twitter. Mark?
Detachable shower heads, man. You know, that's what people need. Then you don't need toilet paper. But you do need to go into the shower after every shit that you take, so that might be problematic.
That's good practice regardless, though. Because, like,
you gotta blast it all out of there, you know?
Yeah. But, I mean, do you have, like, a really good, like, catch tray filter system? Because, you know.
Yeah, it just goes right down the drain. Every once in a while, it might be a bigger piece than you thought. You might go, wow, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Maybe like like the incinerator that they have, like garbage disposal. You just install that on your bathtub, which I think is a Seinfeld episode. Now that I think about it,
or a bidet.
Yeah, that's what I got. I got the water blasting thing. It's great.
There's some.
I don't need no toilet paper.
Wait, pause. What's that company that you can like put the thing on the toilet?
And it's like there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, and it's like inexpensive. There's like they made a good version of it. Yeah,
I'm going on Amazon today.
Something potty. You know.
Well, there's a couple. There's Bio Bidet. There's oh fuck,
Stern
Tushy.
Yeah, Tushy. Yeah.
Tushy. Yes, that was it.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't know if I can do cold water in the mornings.
It shouldn't be cold.
I don't know. Is it cold?
It'll wake you up. I mean, what's better at
Well, mine is like mine's over the top. Like mine, you can like set the water. Like you set it has like two sides of the. Nsima got pretty confused by it one day.
Bro, when I went to your house,
the remote control.
I was in his bathroom for like 25 minutes because like I finished, but then I was like, okay, I wonder what this one feels like. Ooh, I wonder what this one feels like. Oh.
Yeah, you hit the one that has like the girl on it. You're like, whoa, okay. It's like kind of close to my nuts. That feels really good. The best part is like how you got to move on the toilet to make sure you get everything. You got to get your hips going forward and to the side, and you got to make sure you get it all just right.
When we were at your beach house, I'm like, Steph, you got to try this. And so my fiance went in there. She tried it, and you just hear nothing but giggles.
That's great.
She's like,
That's so good.
So good.
She doesn't need you anymore.
Nope. I've been replaced, and I'm okay with it because the better thing won.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Variable pressure.
Yeah, and it's heated though. That's what's great.
Yeah,
I don't have an outlet in the bathroom that can heat it up.
You gotta get one, man.
Just do cold water.
All right, everybody. I'm at Mark Smellybell. Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. Catch y'all later.